I welcome you all to the session of hydraulic machines, and today we shall start discussing about the turbine, to be precise hydraulic turbine. We have discussed about pumps and we have seen that pumps are used for the development or generation of head, right. So, if we try to recall, rather if we try to draw the schematic diagram of a pumping station, we can see that pumps are used to supply water to a tank, maybe which is located at a distance h meter or any other unit from the pump datum or pump axis. See, just I am trying to discuss the energy conversion which will be done by a turbine. So, using a pump, what do? We transfer liquid say from this place to that tank, and the pump is driven by a diesel engine or by an electric motor. So, whatever may be the case, pump is the pump impeller, that is the rotating part of the pump, that is driven, and that mechanical energy that is supplied in the form of the rotation of the impeller, that is used to convert the pressure or head that will be developed. So, in this case, if I write this is pump, mechanical energy is converted into the stored energy of the fluid. We have discussed many times that the stored energy either in the form of pressure or velocity, or it may be combination of these two. Today, since we shall start discussing about the hydraulic turbines, just I am trying to discuss a little bit that is it possible that we can utilize the stored energy of the fluid that is there in the reservoir to rotate the rotating part of the machine. So, that means using a pump, what we are doing? We are converting mechanical energy to increase the stored energy of the fluid. I am now telling, is it possible the reverse? That means the stored energy of the fluid will be utilized to have or to convert mechanical energy. That means the mechanical energy, that is nothing but the rotation, the kinetic energy of the rotating part of the device or a machine. So, if we can have this particular conversion, so this conversion is possible by using another type of hydraulic machines, which are known as hydraulic turbine. So, the concept of hydraulic turbine, which are known as prime mover. So, if I try to underline these two words, hydraulic turbine or hydraulic turbines to be precise, say turbines. So, the reverse is possible by the hydraulic turbine. Now, the same station, I mean if we try to reverse it, so the pump will be acting just like a hydraulic turbine if we reverse, right. See, try to understand, for the pump we are trying to rotate the rotating part of the pump, that is impeller, right. So, the impeller that is nothing but blade plus hub. So, there will be a hub and a few blades will be mounted on the hub, on the periphery of the hub. So, that is known as impeller, right. So, to be precise, let me tell you this hub plus blade this is known as impeller for the pumps, the same is known as runner for the turbine. I may mention here that the hub plus blade is also known as rotor for the compressor. You know that all the pumps, turbines, compressors, all these are fluid machines. When we are talking about hydraulic turbine and pumps, mostly we refer to hydraulic machines. Now, the rotating part of the pump, that is impeller of the pump, to rotate it, we are connecting the shaft of the impeller to a shaft of the a diesel engine or electric motor. So, and that energy is converted into pressure head or pressure, Now, since today we are talking about that the reverse is true by using hydraulic turbine. So, the head that will be there, the stored energy of the fluid that is there in the reservoir, the stored energy can be utilized to rotate the rotating part of the device. Now, we are talking about this device will be now acting just like a hydraulic turbine or turbine, and by making use of this head which is available, that energy which is there in the form of internal energy of the fluid or stored energy, that energy will be utilized to rotate the rotating part of the turbine, that is runner, and if we can connect the shaft of the runner to a shaft of an alternator, we will be getting electricity, and that is how hydroelectric power plant or hydel power plant operates. So, hydroelectric plant or hydel plant are, so for the hydroelectric plant or hydel plant, hydraulic turbines are essential component, right. So, try to understand, hydraulic turbines are again the fluid machines where working fluid is water and we make use of the available head, available energy which is remaining as the stored energy of the fluid to convert into the mechanical energy, that is the rotation of the runner, and from there if we can connect the shaft of the runner to a shaft of an alternator, we will be getting electricity. So, that is how hydraulic turbines works. Now, this is basically what I can say, a brief description about the hydraulic turbines. So, we can understand that this is just like the reverse way of transferring energy, I mean what we have seen in the case of a pump. So, in case of a pump, we had energy conversion, that is from mechanical energy to the stored energy of the fluid. In case of a hydraulic turbine, it is just reverse. So, I mean, you know that just now I have discussed about that we can make use of the available head. So, if we can have a reservoir which is commonly known as dam, and the stored energy of the fluid will be utilized to rotate the runner of the turbine, hydraulic turbine. Now, the head of the water that could be made available for the conversion of energy. So, that is that the head that could be made available at the inlet to the turbine for the efficient conversion of pressure into the kinetic energy of the runner is very important. So, now depending on the head available at the inlet to the turbine can be classified into two broad categories. So, try to understand, we have understood that for the hydraulic turbines the stored energy of the fluid is utilized. Higher the stored energy, that is reflected and that is manifested by this quantity, that is head. So, higher this H, we will be getting higher energy at the inlet to the turbine, that is pressure head, and then that head can be transferred into the kinetic energy of the runner. Higher the head available at the inlet to the turbine, higher will be kinetic energy. If higher is the kinetic energy, the power output, that is the electricity that will be produced from that particular plant will be more. So, depending on the head available, this hydraulic turbine can be classified into two broad categories. So, I am writing hydraulic turbine, okay. So, this can be categorized, I am writing here depending on the head that could be made available at the inlet to the turbine. One is known as impulse turbine and other is known as reaction turbine. This reaction turbine can be, so we will be discussing about the impulse turbine as well as reaction turbine. This reaction turbine can be again classified based on the direction of energy transfer, based on the direction of flow, that is called radial flow reaction turbine, that is Francis turbine, and axial flow reaction turbine, which is Kaplan and propeller. This is Kaplan and propeller. So, this is very important at this point to know that this particular is based on the flow direction. Okay. So, this is based on the flow direction. Now, Kaplan and propeller, these two types are the axial flow reaction turbine, but depending on which depending on whether the blades are fixed or blades are adjustable, this Kaplan and propeller these two different sub classifications are again there. So, Kaplan is also axial flow turbine, propeller is also axial axial flow reaction turbine, but the propeller type is fixed blade where Kaplan is adjustable blade. So, I am writing propeller is fixed blade type and Kaplan is adjustable blade. Okay. So, these two types fall in the category of axial flow reaction turbine. Okay. So, this is axial flow reaction turbine. Now, we will be discussing today this particular type, that is the impulse turbine. So, if we go to the next slide, we will be discussing about impulse turbine. I am not writing the word hydraulic because this class is focusing on the hydraulic, the entire discussion of this particular subject is focused on the hydraulic machines. So, I am not writing impulse. Why I am telling this? Because you have studied about steam turbine in applied thermodynamics course, wherein you have studied about impulse steam turbine. So, to make this particular turbine different from the impulse steam turbine, I am supposed to write impulse hydraulic turbine, but as I told you that the content of this course is focused on the hydraulic machine. So, I am not using this word repeatedly. So, you have studied about impulse turbine, the working principle is same as what you have studied about impulse steam turbine in your applied thermodynamics course. See, impulse turbine basically as I told you, if we go back to the first slide. So, the head of water which is available at the inlet to the turbine, if I try to draw the schematic again, say we will be having if so this is the turbine, this is the impulse turbine, and say the water is collected over here. So, this is said reservoir, okay, and you can understand this is the head which is available at the inlet to the turbine. So, this is the head which is available at the inlet to the turbine. When water, so this head in case of a impulse turbine, what is done? You have studied about it, that the impulsive effect is utilized for the rotation of the turbine runner. So, by how? So, basically in this impulse turbine we can make use of the difference or change in momentum of the fluid by the blades. See, in this particular turbine, water which is stored in this reservoir, that stored energy, so water will be allowed to flow through a special fluidic confinement that is known as penstock. So, it has got a special name which is known as penstock. So, water will be allowed to flow through this fluidic confinement, fluidic channel which is known as penstock, and before water enters into the turbine, it will be allowed to pass through this device which is known as nozzle. So, this is flow nozzle. What is the objective of this having this nozzle? So, that means water will be allowed to pass through this flow nozzle. Water is an incompressible fluid. So, you have studied about it that, so this is again a fluidic channel having gradually decreasing cross sectional area in the direction of flow. Since it is having gradually decreasing area in the direction of flow, when water is coming out from the nozzle, that means at the exit of the nozzle, water will come out in the form of a jet, okay, and that jet will be allowed to strike the turbine blades. So, basically I am writing this is basically difference or change in momentum of the fluid jet. So, not only fluid. So, the fluid is allowed to pass through this nozzle. At the exit of the nozzle, fluid will come out in the form of a jet, and that jet will strike the turbine blades. When the jet is striking the turbine blade, there will be a change in momentum, and this change in momentum of the fluid jet by the blades produces this impulsive effect. Impulsive effect, and because of this impulsive effect, the rotating part of the turbine, that is runner, will rotate. So, you can understand now, using this head which is available at the inlet to the turbine H, there will be the loss when the fluid is passing through this nozzle, but if we can somehow design the nozzle in such a way that at the exit of the nozzle, when fluid is coming out in the form of a jet, we will be having minimum loss. So, eventually we can understand the energy which is available at the inlet to the nozzle and at the exit of the nozzle is almost same, then we can say the head which is available at the inlet to the turbine is almost at the exit of the nozzle, and head which is available at the inlet to the nozzle is almost same. So, by using this amount of head, we can rotate this runner, and if we can somehow connect this shaft of this turbine to the shaft of an alternator, we will be getting electricity. Fine. So, this impulsive effect is responsible for the rotation of the runner, and that is how it is known as impulse turbine. Example of impulse turbine is Pelton wheel. So, Pelton wheel is only one, I can say the Pelton wheel is the only hydraulic turbine of impulse type which is most commonly used. So, let me write here that Pelton wheel is only the hydraulic turbine of impulse type. Which is most commonly used. Okay. So, this is which is very important. So, when we will be talking about impulse turbine, that means we will be talking about Pelton wheel. Pelton wheel is only the hydraulic turbine of impulse type which is most commonly used, and to rotate the runner of the Pelton wheel. So, wheel you can understand will be allowed to rotate by making use of this impulsive effect, which is based on the amount of head which is available at the inlet to the turbine. I may mention here that though we have written that the hydraulic turbine can be classified depending on the head which is available at the inlet to the turbine into two broad categories, that is impulse turbine and reaction turbine. This impulse turbine are suited. So, this impulse turbine or turbines I can write are suited for high head of the typically of the order of 2000 meter. So, the head which could be made available at the inlet to the turbine will be of the order of 2000 meter for the efficient operation of the plant, which is having Pelton wheel as the hydraulic turbine. Okay. And you know that this Pelton wheel is also known as propeller, what I can say, tangential flow turbine. Why? So, let me tell you, this Pelton wheel is also known as tangential flow turbine. Why? Try to understand, in this impulse turbine water is admitted in the form of a jet. It is not only water we are allowing to go into the turbine, instead water is allowed to pass through the nozzle before it strikes the turbine blade, and when the water is coming out from the exit of the nozzle, that is in the form of a jet. So, water is admitted into the turbine in the form of a jet and which is tangentially, you understand. So, I will be showing next a few blades of the hydraulic turbine, to be precise impulse turbine, that is Pelton wheel. So, water is admitted into the turbine in the form of a jet and that is in the tangential direction, and that is why the name tangential flow turbine is coming. Okay. Next, I will be showing a few blades. So, you can understand the blades, this is basically runner. So, this is hub and this is disc basically. So, this is disc, this is also disc, and a few blades are mounted on the disc. So, basically hub and a few blades are equipped with the hub, and number of blades, a few blades. In the context of impulse turbine, these blades are very commonly known as buckets. Buckets seldom less than 50 are mounted on the hub or disc of the turbine, wheel or runner. Okay. So, why I was talking about that water is allowed to go into the turbine in the form of a jet. So, you can understand this is nozzle and this high pressure water is coming because head available at the exit. So, this is at the exit of the nozzle. So, this is exit of the nozzle and this is this is entry to the nozzle, I am sorry. So, this is inlet to the nozzle and that is exit to the nozzle, I am sorry. So, this is inlet to the nozzle inlet of the nozzle and that is exit of the nozzle. So, this is exit. So, this is exit of the nozzle. What we can see that when the water is coming out in the form of a jet. So, this is jet before it strikes the blades or buckets of the turbine. You know that the shape of the blades are like in the form of bucket. So, that is why it is called bucket. Instead of blades it is also known as buckets, and it is striking the blades in the tangential direction, that is why it is called as tangential flow turbine. So, now I will discuss little bit about the flow direction when water is striking the buckets, and most important observation is that, see, in this impulse turbine if we try to look at, the maximum rather entire energy conversion takes place inside the nozzle. So, this high pressure water is getting converted into the kinetic energy in the form of a jet and the kinetic energy of the jet. So, energy conversion takes place only in the nozzle and there is no energy transfer as the liquid is passing through the runner of the turbine, and after striking the bucket liquid will be collected in the reservoir, and that is we have shown over here, that is tail race level. So, this is known as TRL. So, this is known as tail race level and this is known as head race level. So, after striking the buckets, if we have several buckets, after striking the buckets liquid will be collected in this place which is known as tail race level, and there is no energy transfer when liquid is passing through the runner of the turbine, and entire energy conversion takes place in the flow nozzle, and that is why it is not necessary that turbine blades will be covered with a casing. So, it is not necessary that the turbines will be covered with a casing, but since the entire energy conversion takes place in the nozzle, but when we will be discussing about reaction turbine we will see that in case of a reaction turbine the energy conversion takes place gradually as the high pressure fluid passes through the passage of the runner, and that is why the runner of the reaction turbine is fully covered, right, and runner of the impulse turbine is not required to be covered by a casing, but we can have even if we can cover it, it should be open to atmosphere, that is air vent will be there. So, it is not mandatory that it should be air proof, completely air leakage system. In case of a reaction turbine it should be covered fully with a casing, there will not be any air vent as the energy conversion will take place as water moving gradually through the passage of the runner. Now, see, you can see that the shape of the blade is like this, double hemispherical shaped. So, this is mounted in this way that you can understand. So, this is basically a particular blade and this part is fixed with the hub. So, these parts are fixed with the hub, and when water is striking, the water in the form of a jet is striking the bucket here, and you know that this is called splitter rees. This rees is provided so that the oncoming jet will be divided into equal two parts. So, the jet which is coming out from the nozzle, when it is striking at the center of the bucket, bucket is double hemispherical shape, at the center of the bucket the splitter rees is there. The objective of having the splitter is, see, it is not easy to design such a splitter, but even then we need to have the splitter rees purposefully, because when the jet is striking the buckets at the center position, that jet will be divided equally into two parts. One jet will try to flow round the inner surface and it will go out like this. Another jet also will try to flow round the inner surface and it will go like this. So, try to understand, after striking the jet after striking jet will be allowed to divide equally into two parts by the splitter is, and jet will flow round the inner surface and it will eventually go out. So, we can understand there will be two different jets is coming out from the turbine blades or buckets. Since there is a change or deflection which is created by the bucket. So, there is a change in or deflection of the jet, fluid jet, that deflection is created by this bucket or blades. So, the deflection done by this blade or buckets will lead to the change in momentum and the difference in momentum, and because of this difference in momentum we will be able to, there will be the power that will be developed. Okay. So, force will be developed. Now, question is, by making use of the blade suitably, that is the angle of deflection. So, you can understand the jet will come out like this, from the bucket. So, you try to understand that if we can have maximum momentum change will be achieved if bucket could deflect this jet at an angle 180 degree, that you have studied in fluid mechanics course. But from the practical point of view, it is not possible to design the bucket in such a way that it will deflect the jet at an angle 180 degree. Instead, the deflection angle is kept constant for essentially for the smooth operation of the turbines, and that part we will be discussing in the next class. But only important thing that I should discuss here is that the jet will be allowed to deflect by this bucket or blade. Splitter ease will be allowed, splitter ease will allow the jet to divide into equal two parts. Importantly, there is a notch. This notch is provided, this notch is having two different functions. First of all, it does not allow liquid to go into through the center. So, liquid might go through the center of the wheel. So, after striking, liquid might go towards the center of the wheel. So, the notch will not allow the liquid to go through the center of the wheel, number 1. Number 2, as I am talking about, that if we can have that if we can design the bucket in such a way that the jet which is coming out after striking the blade, that it is quite expected that jet might strike the preceding blade which is going to come, because the movement is very spontaneous. So, the jet which is coming out from the blade, we should be careful while designing the bucket in such a way that that jet will not create any resistance to the movement of the wheel by striking the blade which is going to come. So, if it is the case, instead of having higher energy, higher power develop maximum power, that it will provide a resistance to the motion of this runner and will be getting less power output. So, this notch is provided such that the outcoming jet will not allow, rather notch will not allow the outcoming jet to strike the preceding blade which is going to come. So, if we try to summarize today's discussion, that we have discussed about the fundamental difference between pump and turbine, then we have discussed about the turbine classification, and finally, we have discussed about the Pelton wheel, which is the only available impulse hydraulic turbine and which is most commonly used. Then we have discussed a little bit about the blading or buckets of the hydraulic impulse turbine. Now, we have also briefly touched upon that the incoming jet will strike the blade and because of this geometrical configuration of the turbine blades or buckets, jet will come out. Now, there will be a change in momentum due to the deflection of jet created by the blades or buckets, we will be getting power output. So, to understand what will be the maximum power output at the cost of this input energy. So, at the cost of this input energy, what will be the output energy, and to do that we need to draw the velocity triangles that we have we have discussed about the velocity triangles in the context of pump. Again we need to draw the velocity triangle for the turbines. By drawing the velocity triangles we will come to know the amount of what is the energy which is available at the shaft of the turbine, and by knowing the energy which is available at the shaft of the turbine and we know the input energy which is available at the inlet to the turbine, we can estimate the efficiency of the turbine, and we shall discuss this part in the next class. Thank you.